everyone. Welcome back to Connect HR Hangouts. It's your favorite sizzling host, Babi Mawela. And we are back with season 2 of our podcast. Yay! If you're new here, welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your loyalty. Please don't forget to like, comment, and share this episode. And please click on the notification button so that every time we upload a new episode, you get a notification. In studio today, as you can see, we have a return soldier. Backed by popular demand. She goes by the name Mookho Mhlayivana. Welcome back, Mookho.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be back?
In all honesty, I should have an office here by now.
For real.
But it feels really good. I think it speaks so much to who I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the fact that I would do something so well that I'd be called again, you know. So yeah, I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Love it for you. So everyone knows you as a life coach and what has changed since you've been here? Maybe for those who are meeting you for the first time, you can just give them a nice introduction of who Mookho is.
Okay. First and foremost, I identify as a vessel.
Yes.
A vessel because I do so many things, and you know, vessels can be used for multiple reasons. I identify as a vessel, and I'm a sales trainer. I'm a real estate agent. I'm an aunt.
Come on.
Hence the rich aunt Mo, you know. I'm a professional speaker. I'm a hazila. Yeah. I mean, in all honesty, it sounds like I do a lot of things, but I mainly do two things. I speak and I sell. So I would be speaking on many different platforms for many different reasons, whether it's coaching, training, or motivating.
Yeah.
Or on radio, as I am on radio. Or I'm selling. And right now I'm selling just houses. So yeah, that's what I do. I speak, I sell.
Love it for you.
Thank you.
And our previous topic actually was personal development, which did a lot for the people who watched it. I think the amount of impact that you had on people's lives was, I think we didn't anticipate that you'd make such an impact on people's lives. And I think today I want to change the direction because you've already given us the life advice. But now we are living this life and we don't know how to survive this life. Right?
Yeah.
And so which informed our topic for today, which is resilience, right? As a professional, as a human being, you know. And in your own words or your understanding, what does resilience mean to you?
I think resilience for me is the ability to spring back. And I would go as far as say spring back from anything or anyone, right? Because it's not just things we need to spring back from. Sometimes it's people, it's trauma, it's childhood, it's relationships, it's bad choices, you know. So it's literally your ability to come back to yourself and even better, becoming a better version of yourself regarding whatever it is that you've gone through. When you come onto the other side, being a better version of yourself in spite of what you've been through. Yeah.
That is insane. And I think, you know, in preparation of our conversation, I think you referred to the 4 Ps and maybe give our audience some insight on what are the 4 Ps and how does that speak to resilience?
Okay, so as you know, I'm a storyteller. Okay,
100%.
Let's start with the story and then we'll go into the 4 Ps of how the 4 Ps came about.
Love it.
So it's 2021. It's 2021. I'm pregnant. I'm excited. I'm about to have my first child. It's a boy, and I'm living my best life, preparing for my son. My family is excited because at the time he would have been, or he was the first grandson to my parents. So here we are, we're excited. One day I go to the hospital and I give birth January the 3rd. And, I hear him cry for the first time and I'm so excited. I have friends all over the world waiting to meet him. Everyone's praying for us because giving birth can be a life-threatening situation for either the mom or the baby, right? And, I'm okay. He's okay. He did have some sort of condition though, but he was fine when he came out, And then he went into his little cute incubator. Every day I'm going to see my son because he was born, I think, just a couple of weeks too early. So that's normal, right?
Yeah.
That you'd be in the hospital frequently. So I'm going to the hospital every day and I'm fasting and I'm praying, I'm fasting, I'm praying. Everybody's fasting and praying all over the world, literally. And then one faithful Sunday, I get a call that says, your son's heart had stopped, but he's okay now. We've revived him, but you can come see him if you want. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I'm a prayer warrior, I'm like, yes, of course he's fine. Duh. And I go to the hospital and I see him and, he's fine. And I'm like, okay, then I go back home. And another Sunday, a week later, I get the same call. But this time they say, come and say goodbye. We've done all that we could. He's still here, but he's going. So perhaps come and say goodbye. Let me tell you something. That was probably the saddest day of my life. Till date. I don't think I've ever experienced any words. They say sticks and stones might break my bones, but words, what do I die? Those days, that day, words broke
the words.
me, And I said, but I said, because I'm a believer, I said, well, when the doctors don't know what to do, my God knows what to do. When they've reached the end of their rope, I know this is exactly when the miracle comes in. And I went to the hospital and, Babi, let me tell you something. I fell on the floor and I cried. Outside, hysterically. I rolled on the ground and I called my God and I cried and I prayed. And eventually I gathered my strength and I went inside the hospital and the doctors just kept saying, we're so sorry. We've done all that we could. Then I called my family and they said, yeah, everybody must come say goodbye. That kind of thing, called the dad, whatever. And at the time, his dad had never seen him before. And this was the first time he sees him 16 days later. And the first time he sees his son, he's coming to say goodbye, and I don't even know what we prayed about on that day, but he prayed. He said something. I don't know what he said, And we sat in a little room and we waited for our son to die. And we made promises to each other, that we'd be there and that we would love each other and we would support each other. And then we waited for our son to die and he died. And we started making funeral arrangements with my family. And we went home and I, stayed at home with my mom so I could be taken care of and blah, blah, blah. 4 days later, we buried my son. A good friend of mine, shout out to him, Ploso, came to me and he said to me, Mo, you're a motivational speaker, because already at this time, I'm like an established motivational speaker. I'm doing all the things that I'm doing right now. Just to backtrack. So actually, when I was pregnant, I entered into a competition on the chair on TV. Okay. And I was like heavily pregnant at the time. It was December and I gave birth in Jan. So, you see how big my nose is? On that day, it was even bigger. It was even bigger. But there I was on TV on this competition, they got the chair where they give young people opportunities.
Okay.
And I got an opportunity to be a real estate agent, which I actually really did not expect. Okay. I thought to myself, okay, I'm doing this for my son. Okay. Because I just want to speak. So apparently I can't just speak.
Okay.
I must do something else so that I can actually be rich mama and be able to take care of this boy who's coming. So now I'm going into this profession with the mind that I'm doing it for my son.
Yeah.
Right? Great. So January comes, my friend comes and he says to me, listen, dude, you've been motivating people. You're really good at what you do. Initially, before my son died, he had said I should write a story about giving birth. So while I was in hospital giving birth, I was thinking about the process of giving birth and what I'm going to say about it. Right? Now, he comes back to me and he says, well, now you've got to write down a book about survival, like surviving losing your son. And now you have to think of ways, because you've been depressed before and I've seen what it's done to you. I don't want to see you go down that rabbit hole. So please sit down and formulate a way in which you are going to survive this and train other people how to do the same thing. I thought to myself, gosh, this man is so insensitive. I just buried my son like 3 days ago, dude. What do you mean? But because I know his heart and his love for me, I knew that he meant well. So I was able to be like, okay, sharp. Yeah. It's okay. And I can't need to. That's exactly what I did. I said my first point of reference was purpose. To say, why am I on earth? I was before he was. So therefore, his end cannot be mine. It sounded insensitive at the time when I said it, but I knew that this was very important. My son had his purpose, and so do I. And so I'm going to continue with my purpose. So that's where the first P came in. Okay. My first point of reference was to say, what was I doing before my son came? Yeah. Right? What was I doing before my son came? And therefore, let me continue doing those things that I was doing before he came. So I continued my work. I went to work the next week after I buried my son. You know, in our culture, it's not the right thing to do. Yeah. You must sit at home. But I'm just like, everyone is going to work. I'm going to sit at home and then what? Right? So I went back to work. I was actually starting in the next month, this real estate journey that I was entering into because of him. Which was a very sad, long beginning of the year for me. And let me just take you back. Before I gave birth to my son, I had a word that I was to be fruitful and to be dominant and to multiply. So this was my first seed physically, and here dies this seed. So I'm saying all of this to give you context of what's going on in my mind as I'm going through writing down, what am I going to do first? My purpose. Right? Okay. Anyway, so I start working and I'm selling houses and I'm doing well. And I'm serving at church. I continued with the radio. I was in radio at that time, so am I. I still am now. Continued with my purpose. And I continued to seek out more reasons why I was on earth, because this also meant that being on earth was becoming a little difficult. Basically, I say this to say, naked depression, of course. So I needed to find reasons to stay alive. And this is what a lot of people struggle with. They struggle with finding reasons to be alive. Because they don't have a sense of what their purpose is. And when you don't know that you have a purpose, it's so easy to out yourself. And you can even out yourself, not even physically, but mentally. Do you know how many people are walking around and they've checked out?
Yes. There's quite a lot.
We've got so many people that are just merely existing now. Kuro se ba emetse trompeta. Se ba emetse gore fela a tle ka maru. You know? And I didn't want that for myself. I didn't want to merely exist.
Yeah.
Right? Because I also understood that he brought me here for a reason.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of person I am. So I also hung out with people that reminded me of who I was. And why this was important, Babi, in terms of purpose, being surrounded by people that actually know you will help you remember who you are.
Yes.
Because when you're depressed or stressed or, you're suffering from something, somehow you lose yourself in the pain because pain changes us.
True.
And it's so easy to forget your identity.
True.
In pain. So I made sure that not only did I keep doing my purpose, but that I hung out with people who reminded me of who I am. So that's the first P.
Okay.
Purpose. The second P, Babalo, was passion. I continued to do and to be around people that fueled my fire. So what passion is inchisego, like chochiselwa, like the things that keep you alive, like that burn you up.
They set your soul on fire.
Set your soul on fire. There's a song that says, "Keep me all in my lamp, keep me burning, burning, burning."
Yeah.
Have you ever heard it before?
Oh, Mookho, yes.
Sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna. Yeah. Anyways. So I was so intentional about doing the things that I was passionate about. I love ice cream. I'm passionate about it. So I continued to eat ice cream. I get it when you said sometimes like appetite. So I made sure that I never lost an appetite for my life. That I made sure that there's people that distinguish your fire.
Yes.
Your passion. There's people that batelang metsi when you are excited.
Or they
extinguish your fire.
Yeah.
Right? So for me, I continued to hang around spaces and people. It was hard, Babalo. There are days when, prior to this, there were days when I would kick the blankets when I'd wake up in the morning. But now, in this situation, especially when it was still new, there were days when I would really roll out the bed and force myself. My friends, sometimes I would run away from them because they would fuel me. And sometimes you don't want people that fuel you. You need them,
but you
don't want them because sometimes you want to live in your pain. Right?
True.
And so here I was, and I couldn't run away from them. I ran away from them, but I couldn't because fortunately for me, I have people that really love me, genuinely love me. And I am super blessed that they were there loving me even when I couldn't love myself, when I couldn't love God. He was there, And so passion was the second one I continued to do. There's actually a story about Aretha Franklin. And she had a really bad upbringing. And someone said to her, "Baby, sing it. Like sing that pain, sing that joy, And I learned to, although it was difficult, speak continuously. I made a lot of money from my son's death.
Okay.
Because I had the opportunity to go heal people, yes, and speak about it, but also make lots of money because I continued to be myself, as difficult as it was. So first, purpose, then second, passion. The third P, Babalo, is perspective. And perspective means the way you look at things. So I sat down and I decided I've not always been an optimist. Maybe let me change how I view life, right? And fundamentally, you need to understand that life is a series of yin and yangs. It's black and white continuously.
Yes.
It's either you see that the glass is half full or half empty, depending on your perspective. How do you see things? And then I adopted what we call an attitude of gratitude, where I said, I might not have my son anymore, but my mom's here loving me. My siblings are here calling me. My friends, So I literally became very intentional about how I was going to view my life.
Yeah.
Was I going to look it through the eyes of my sadness or through the beautiful things that were happening? Because as the bad was happening, there was so much good at the same time. Because it drew me closer to my family. I started a new business. There was good things that were happening. Yes, I was sad.
Yeah.
But there were good things. So I learned, and I now teach people to say they're happening at the same time. But where are you going to place your energy? Perspective is everything.
Yeah.
Do you know, Babalo, if you check my status on a random day and I say I'm living in answered prayers, sometimes I'd be crying.
Yeah, this I know.
Because I'm sad. But I am intentional about thinking about the good stuff that's happening in my life. So this is a way to affirm myself and to affirm my God and to affirm my situation that, yes, kutlule buhlungu about something. But right now, I'm living in answered prayers still as much as something bad is happening. So this is what perspective really has to do with. It's not that you are oblivious to the bad. Don't be oblivious. Just don't give it too much attention. Yeah. If you pretend long enough to be happy, you will be happy.
Sure.
I mean, if you can pretend to love people, pretend to be happy also. The happiness will come. But that's what perspective for me really means, right? Having an attitude of gratitude. Continuously seeing the good that's happening, continuously seeing the good people that are there loving you.
Yeah.
And then the fourth one was power. I then asked myself, I've survived so many other things in life. This is not the first tragedy. What made me survive? And I have the ability to say this and sit down and write because I'm that kind of person. And we said this in the first the first one that I had with you, that the problem that a lot of people have is that they don't have journals. They're not writing down the things that they're going through. They're not having conversations with themselves to kind of do mind maps and ask themselves questions, or even have friends or family or therapists that also help them kind of put things into perspective.
Yes.
So important. So I had the privilege of sitting down and saying, how did I survive the death of dad? How did I survive the breakup from my parents? How did I survive the breakup from my first love? All of those things that I'd gone through that to me were really sad or bad or, got me into a depression or anxiety, or all of these things that we end up experiencing because of trauma, right?
Yeah.
Or of loss and grief. So I remembered, no. My superpower is that I don't give up. That's my power. For the life of me, I just don't have the quitting spirit. I'm going to die at the hill of my dreams. Get rich or die trying.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that are just like, I'm not going to quit. Maybe I might quit the gym for like a day, but I'll go back tomorrow because I've got a goal. And I really do believe that if something has been placed in your heart, if you have a vision or if you have a dream, that has been placed inside of you because it's possible for you. So I had to constantly remind myself that I have a vision, I have a dream, I have a goal that was there before my son was there.
Yeah.
And my power is that I don't give up. And therefore, whatever else that I had planned pre-pregnancy needs to continue.
Sure.
Right? So yeah, that's how I came up with the 4 Ps. And to be quite honest with you, they have been such a blessing to me because I also have the perspective, and I always have had the perspective that all things, all things work together for my good. And so I was going to take this very bad situation and turn it into something really beautiful, not just for myself, but for other people as well, to help enable them to be able to spring back from anything and anyone.
Yeah.
That was not only the bad thing that happened, even the dad, we broke up. Ooh, that was sad, in a very short space of time. That was really, really sad. It's a story for another day. Don't want to give it too much credit, but that's another thing that really broke me in that time. While I was trying to heal from losing my son, I was now also healing from losing the dad or what he had done to me at the time or whatever we had experienced, rather, let me put it like that.
Yeah.
So, and so when I say you can spring back from anything and anyone, it's something that I don't just speak about. It's something that I've experienced. It's something that I do every day as well. Make a conscious decision, Guti. You are not going to be the end of me. This is not going to be the end of me. Is it easy? No. No. Is it worth it? Absolutely. Absolutely. And so the mind, if you really do check that the wealthiest or the happiest people are the resilient people.
Yeah.
It's the people that really push through. It's the people that fight. I mean, in life, we're really just swimming against the current. Is it the current or the currents?
The current.
The current. Thank you, ma'am. We are just swimming against.
Against. Yes.
Constantly. Right?
Yeah.
Just swim or die. Just swim or die. So you have to be persistent and you have to be relentless in your pursuit to build up strength inside of you, to swim against, if it's there, it means, and it's been done before. Look at the people that are in front of you. They're doing it. There are other people that have survived. I sell houses, and sometimes I'm looking at these houses, I'm like, some of these houses are super expensive. I'm like, but this person can afford this house.
Yeah.
So it means it's doable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I try to look at life from that perspective to say, there's many people that have lost their children. They're still alive. They're still pushing through. There's many people that have been through divorce. They're still alive. They're still pushing through. They're still doing well. There's many people that have failed school. They're not dead because they failed school. They still pushed through and tried something else. So I say this to say, you can spring back from anything and anyone.
Hectic. Before we go any deeper, let's just take a short break.
All right.
And we'll come back to our conversation.
Awesome stuff.
With Connect HR, payroll is simple, accurate, and on time. We handle everything from tax calculations to compliance, ensuring stress-free processing every cycle. Let us manage your payroll so that you can focus on what matters. Connect HR, seamless HR solutions for the everyday company. Welcome back, everybody. We just had to take a short break. Just to digest everything you've shared with us. And thank you so much for being so vulnerable with us. Usually this happens at the end of the episode, but you just started with a bang, and which I really, really appreciate because, wow, you've shared some amazing, how can I even call it? It's not advice, but it's, I don't know, you've shared a lot of nuggets that are valuable to our platform. And I think my next question is then, we have professionals who go through the exact same issues that you've mentioned. And there's a high level of expectation that they need to show up in the workplace, feeling like you once felt or still do feel. And I want to hear from you that what's your advice to people who are in a professional environment? How can they overcome such situations, since the topic at hand is resilience?
Sure. That's a great question. First, know your 4 Ps. So I would say, sit down, say, what's my purpose in this workspace, at home, in the lives of the people that I am in their life?
Yeah.
Right? What am I passionate about? what brings my soul to fire, what excites me, ask yourself the questions about your 4Ps, number one. Number two, know that this too shall pass. I think for me, one of the most profound things that I've learned is really just that phrase, this too shall pass. The pain will pass, the grief will pass, the joy will pass, the anxiety will pass. And so what I actually do now, Babi, is I literally sit up and wait for the feeling, whatever it is that I'm feeling at that time, I physically sit up or I sleep and let the feeling pass. Because it will pass. Remember, when you're anxious, it's just a feeling.
Yeah.
It's just a feeling. It passes. The sadness, it passes. Do something. Eat ice cream. Go for a jog. Do an activity that will help you not to focus your mind on how you feel at that time. You are a professional. You're going through things at home. Now you are at work. I actually once asked a friend of mine who is a very prominent businessman in another country. I said, how do you regulate your emotions? And he said, you don't regulate your emotions. Allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you need to feel. Yes. And then let it pass.
Okay.
Let it pass. It's okay. It's a part of it. Like, remember what I said earlier? We're constantly going through the good and the bad at the same time. So just sit there and allow the feeling of sadness to just go through your body. Because it's not going to stay there forever. Right? So eat ice cream, talk to your partner, call the friend who makes you happy, who makes you laugh. Sometimes all you need to do is to laugh or to cry. Cry, go to the bathroom. You at work, you a professional, you don't have much time. Go outside, listen to a song, but allow yourself to just allow the feeling to pass you. And then when you have like proper time, deal with it. Deal with it. Seek out actual help, whether it's speaking to somebody about it. I highly recommend therapy. That's why I come I cares and so forth. Go and just speak about it.
Yeah.
Go to the bar and speak to a stranger. Go to church. Tell the Lord something. But just don't allow yourself to just keep going with pain unattended. The problem is that we have people that have pain unattended, whether it's from work, it's from school, it's from entrepreneurship, whatever it is. Don't let things go unattended. Attend to them. But most importantly, let it pass.
Let it pass. And so I'm curious, right? You have your 4Ps. Do you think that if another person were to introspect after going through such a traumatic time in their lives, do you think that they have their own formula? Or do you maybe feel that people address those issues similarly, but not entirely like how you approach those situations?
I mean, obviously we're different. I've created a framework that worked for me that I now help other people who don't have a framework, because this is just a language thing. It's because of my profession as a personal development coach and a mindset development coach. I've created a framework, right? I've created a language to help people be able to sit down and have conversations with themselves. People deal with things differently.
Yeah.
And this is just to help those who don't have a language of healing, that don't have a language for transformation or for resilience or for springing back, and I would then train people how to do this based on the fact that they probably don't have their own mindset framework. Yeah.
Lovely. And we've reached a part of our episode where you get to ask, the host a question of your choice. Any question?
You've tricked me. Why did you tell me prior? My question to you would be, I mean, you've survived a lot of things.
Yeah.
I know personally you've survived a lot of things. And personally one of the strongest people I know. But what's your framework? What's your trick? You know, maybe framework is too fancy for this, but
It absolutely
what's your
is.
trick? You know, how do you fight? Because this is, I mean, when we speak about resilience, we're really talking about what are your weapons?
What are my weapons? My weapons are, I just remember who's counting on me.
Ooh.
And it keeps me going. So I am a mom. I'm not a wife yet, but I'm also someone else's child before I'm a mom, or, you know, I'm a sister. So I always think about those people who are counting on me. And another thing is I think about what I haven't done yet, and if I'm ready to call it quits before I even attempt to accomplish what I want to accomplish. So I would say that could possibly be one of the things that keep me alive. But I don't think I have a framework. I'm not fancy like you. I don't. But yeah, that is the short answer of your question.
Okay. I'd like to challenge you to go create your 4 Ps.
Okay.
Okay, to sit down and say, what am I passionate about? What's my purpose? Outside of your kids, outside of loving your family as you do, who are you?
Yeah.
Right? Someone will say, oh, Mo, you say that because you don't have a child anymore. You don't understand. Your children can't be your life.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Your family cannot be your life. They are a part of it. But I mean, I learned the hard way when my dad died that you place these people high up there.
Yeah, true.
When they die with you, mchana, you know? So you don't want to put yourself in a position of that level of vulnerability.
Yes.
So I'd like to challenge you, host with the most, to create a framework from the 4 Ps for yourself.
Okay, I love that. Thank you for the free session. Because I know you do charge for this. Where do people find you on social media?
Okay, so I'm on all the social media platforms except Twitter. I still don't know how to work it. And my name is Mookho Mhlayivana on all the social media platforms, or you can just say The Rich and Mo Speaks.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you. And we'll have you again on season 3.
Of course, absolutely. This is a home, man.
This is home. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. We'd love to hear from you. Signing out from episode 2. It's your sizzling host. See you next time.